There we go. Good. All right, let me just get the live stream going. Right, we are good. Okay, so this is the January 26th meeting of the Inland Wetland Agency. Dave Scott's the chair. Staff tonight, Bruce Lofgren and Deb Jones. If members of the public want to address the commission, they can do that under public communications, and you'll have to raise your hand to be recognized, and then we will promote you so that you can speak to them. If you're an applicant, we'll let you speak when your agenda item is up.
All right. Any public communications, Deb?
I do not see anybody raising their hand. I see no one but applicants, so I think we're good.
Okay. Approval of the minutes of January 12th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of January 12th.
Second it.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right. The Brown residence, new construction 49 Prospect Street.
Okay, it looks like the applicant is here, so I'm going to promote both of them as panelists. And just while they come on, just so everyone knows, and this is Bruce Lofgren for the record, that this is a new application, so we can't approve it tonight. We just received it last week. It is a single-family dwelling at the end of Prospect Street. It was a subdivision that was approved in the early 90s, and I believe this is the last vacant lot in the subdivision, and they're now proposing to develop. But I think the builder is here as well as the owners. So if Paul, if you want to unmute yourself and address the commission, I can put up the plan and you can go over it.
Could you locate it too?
Yes, I can do that. I'll pull up the map first, actually.
Okay, here we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think you can see me, but you can hear me. Okay. My name is Paul Lucier. I've been a local builder since 1982 in the southeastern Connecticut area. I'm representing my clients, Kyle and Stephanie Brown, in regard to this wetlands permit application for 49 Prospect Street, Lot 6 in Groton. My intention is to be concise in explaining the details regarding this application request. I'd like to start by explaining how we decided on the size and location of the house, garage, and future pool area, knowing that the wetlands would be a factor. The subdivision deed restrictions are quite restrictive and played a major part in the house design and location, along with the homeowner's needs and wish list for their dream home. Three restrictions in particular were a factor, which I'll now explain. Restriction number one was the minimum house size requirement. It reads, temperature-controlled living areas to be no less than 2,200 square feet with a minimum of 1,200 square feet on the first floor. The house that we've designed is 2,655 square feet with 1,635 square feet on the first floor. This does not include the 3-bay attached garage, which is 864 square feet, which will not be heated at this time. Restriction number two was the roof peak height maximum restriction. It's a little different than the town restriction, and it reads that the peak of the house can be no more than 26 feet higher than the as-built top of curb at the center of the curb cut. We were able to maintain this by keeping the house close to the existing grades, which is about 4 feet lower than the street. By doing this, we'll need to bring in just a minimal fill, and the finished grading to the existing grades will be much easier to achieve. Restriction number three was the driveway location from the property line. It reads that no portion of any driveway shall be closer than 6 feet from the side property lines. As you can see, that front is pretty narrow.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another restriction that states for garages located within 60 feet from the front of the closest road curb, such overhead doors shall not face directly toward the street and shall make an angle with the street of at least 45 degrees. So what we chose to do was to face the garage to the side, mostly due to grading, drainage, and the ability to have a turnaround for a vehicle in the driveway.
Paul,
Yes,
sorry, can I just interrupt just
Yeah.
quickly? Sorry. Can you just locate this property with, Prospect Street and where that is in relation to, the adjoining streets? I'm not sure exactly where this is.
so it's
Right by
Prospect Street runs parallel to Mystic Avenue.
Yeah, I
And
know Prospect Street. I just don't know where on Prospect.
it's all the way at the bottom of the turnaround. So it's the last
okay.
lot at the bottom of the turnaround.
Oh, okay,
So it's sort of a pie-shaped piece of property, if you will.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So then we added a placeholder on the lot for a future pool, and which is something that we hope to achieve with this permit application. We know that we'll have to come back when we get a pool, when they do a pool, they'll need to come back to with the grading and that type of thing to show what we're going to do. But we're just trying to achieve the setbacks at this point. So when the neighborhood was developed back in March of 2000, the wetland buffer regulated area was 50 feet. So today we know that the regulated area is 100 feet from a delineated wetland. So lot 6, as you will see when you do your site visit, has what I would describe as a wooded wetland with little or no actual water. The 20-foot drainage and sewer easement on the east side of the lot does a great job dispersing water away from the subdivision from the roads and does not allow water to stand in the area considered to be a wetland on the property. So we are asking for your consideration to reduce the wetland buffer to 25 feet to allow us to achieve better and more gradual grading of the property. If the commission requires plantings to help with any absorption of water or runoff from the property, we're more than willing to do that. In addition, silt fence will be installed and maintained as shown on the plan, and hay bales will be used as needed to keep any water or runoff from entering the wetland while we're working on the property. I appreciate the commission, and I look forward to working with you all to achieve the goals of my client. I have this written, I have this saved. I can email this to everyone, so if you need to review it again, that you'd be able to do that. I know I just said a lot of stuff, so, but that's basically it.
All right, Paul. First of all, why can't you put the house further back and into the larger part of the property?
Well, that part of the land actually slopes again pretty far away, and we're trying to keep the house sort of in continuity with the rest of the neighborhood. Most of the houses are fairly close to the street, and we thought it would be a nice idea to kind of continue that and keep the house a little closer to the street, and that way we'd be able to do a little more with a yard in the back and, possibly get a pool in and that type of thing in the future.
I'm thinking it would be nice to maintain the distance from the buffer distance from the wetland and not give it away.
Mhm.
Which could be achieved by moving the house back into as the lot expands. Also looks fairly flatter back there as opposed to going forward where there is some elevation difference.
A little bit. It gives us the opportunity to have a walkout basement from the house too.
Dave, when you say moving back, are you saying move it to the west? Is that what I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear on
It
what you're
would
saying.
be, let's see, north is where the cul-de-sac is. It would be south and probably west.
South and west. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the lot expands into a
Yeah,
fairly
yeah.
good-sized parcel back there.
Doesn't that move it closer to the wetlands, though? I mean, if you're talking a 100-foot buffer, he mentioned, and so you're chopping
True,
it down even
down in
closer?
that northeast corner. However, if you moved
So you're
south,
moving it closer
west,
to the one on the west side.
yeah,
Or
well, a
further
little
north.
bit, but you might go over the pool area, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I drove by there the other day. And I think, I know we site walked this in 2000 when we approved this subdivision. I remember it was somewhat complex, and Deb, of course, you will remember and remind me, because you're still younger than I am. There was intermittent water course coming down from somewhere. I want to say the house that was existing on this Prospect Street, intermittent water course, and then there was something about that I'm not remembering clearly.
Oh,
And
this is helpful.
So this is the subdivision plan that Bruce is showing
Yes.
you. This is the one that you approved. So you can see on the right side of the screen, the intermittent water course was regraded to go into the catch basins in the street,
Gotcha. Okay, yeah,
next to lot 1 there. Yeah,
yes.
Yep.
How's that working? Do you guys know?
I haven't been out there in a while, but certainly no complaints, and no complaints from Public Works about icing.
Okay,
Yeah, I haven't seen any issues when I've been out there myself
Okay.
either.
that's awesome. And the other thing that I noticed when I was driving out just to check this from my car, I didn't get out of my car. I did notice that the house on lot, I'll just say 7, I guess. There's a lot of clearing behind that house. And so if there was any upland review area restriction, I would be interested to know if that was honored.
So actually that one, those homeowners, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, came to you with a removal plan with some dead trees and
Okay.
things. So you looked at that pretty carefully.
Okay, thanks,
Mhm.
Deb. I appreciate you being my memory. It really makes a difference to me. So that's great to know. So I feel like I would like to have a peek at this property just quickly, please.
I also noticed that the builder's placement of the house was in the area where I was suggesting, which is south and
Yeah.
west.
I noticed that too.
Mm,
You mean on the original site plan, Dave?
yeah.
Right, on
Yeah.
the last sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
Mhm.
Wow.
What's on the slopes now? And between the house, between the proposed house and the wetlands? What's
Very
on the
o-
slope there now?
Very overgrown, I would say would be an understatement.
Yeah.
So it's not, okay, overgrown, you mean like various bushes, there's no trees or?
There are some trees still on the property. Yeah, there was a couple of good sized trees in the middle.
But that upland review, well, I mean, you only have 25 feet marked off.
I
Can you
saw.
just, Deb,
We
on
can
that,
turn that on the map, yeah.
on that original site plan, did we suggest a 25-foot upland review area from that wetland? Back to the first one, please, Bruce.
Sure. I'm not sure if Deb remembers, but just to let everyone know, we did just receive this last week, so staff hasn't done their full review
Yep.
on it yet. So I haven't looked at all the conditions of this this subdivision's wetland approval yet, but it does show here a 50-foot buffer, and it says a C note 20. I'm assuming that probably was a restriction, that there's no building within 50 and possibly no clearing within 50 feet of the wetlands back then.
Yep.
So maybe someone can explain to you, then why does it say on the plan map, going from 100 feet to 25 feet?
Therein lies the question, Courtney.
I'm asking that as a question. That's why I asked originally. Was there originally a 100-foot buffer required?
Looks
I-
like it was 50. Looks like,
Yeah, it looks like it was 50. And I don't want to speak for the applicant, but I think what they were thinking was that there's the upland review area is 100 feet, and they were requesting that to clear within 25 feet. So it's just kind of a terminology thing.
Yeah.
but if they
That's exactly
build,
right.
they build with that, you and I both know that all kinds of machinery And excavation is going to be going on between the edge of that building and the wetlands way more than
Mm,
the 25 feet.
mhm,
That's obvious.
mhm.
The interesting thing also on that other plan, most of the garages face the road.
Those were typical houses placed on the plan to just to
Right.
show that you could put a house within the setbacks. It appears that the developer of the subdivision created a homeowners association and created some restrictions so that he could control the look of the houses that were placed on there. The restrictions that were listed out to you are not town restrictions. It's something within the deeds of all of the lots in this subdivision.
Mhm.
And again, we haven't really reviewed this plan carefully, but it does appear that even though on the applicant's plan, they do show a 25-foot upland review area, there's, at this point, they're showing work well outside of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think too. I mean, it shows the 25-foot, but then it's hard to sort of guess where the 50-foot would be. And that's notwithstanding the pool. I mean, obviously the pool seems to be, I don't know, again, I don't know where that would be. Looks like the pool would still be outside the 50-foot, but I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
That's why-
what we were actually trying to do originally was to keep everything 50 feet away from the actual wetland. And then we thought, geez, maybe it would be good if we went to 25. It would give us a better opportunity to grade things a little differently and maybe kind of blend it into the site a little bit better.
Right.
Because you're correct. I mean, you're right. Behind that house is going to be some machines that are going to drive around that house that
Yeah.
we're going to need to, it's going to be a little more difficult to do it if we only have 50 feet or 40 feet, that type of thing. So we
Yeah.
thought we'd ask for
We only have
25.
25 feet.
Yeah, so we thought we'd ask for that.
You and I both know the excavators and stuff are going to go through there. That's why I think the house should be moved south and west. And you may lose the pool area, but
Does anybody besides me want to look at this again or just me?
I definitely want to go look at it.
I would
Yeah,
like
me-
to.
Yeah, me too.
Yes,
you
Would
want
it
to
help
do,
if would it help if we put some sort of stakes out there that kind of give you an idea of where the house would be located?
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
You know,
good.
some
Yeah,
small
absolutely.
stakes with
Yeah.
flags on them.
Yep.
We did have the wetlands reflagged when they purchased the land, so that we knew what we were getting ourselves into. But I think that would be a big help to you all if we put some stakes where the foundation would potentially be, at least get something
Yes.
close, and then you'd have an idea of where it is in proximity to the wetland.
I think that'd be great. That'd be-
Given my newness to this, I'm sort of I have to ask a question. I can understand and appreciate the short-term impacts of construction that potentially could happen but what about the long term? Like, what do you anticipate this construction to have in terms of a long-term impact to wetland areas? I'm asking that as a question,
Are you asking me that?
yeah. Mhm.
I think once everything is growing, the grass is growing, and if we need to put some sort of absorption type plantings in, I think that would, it would solve it. It would be no different than what it is currently right now.
So it's just water, runoff, increasing or decreasing runoff. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll increase or decrease. I think it'll be basically the same. The road runoff catches in that storm drain and goes down through that easement. So really it would be just the site runoff, which would be gutter drains and that type of thing, and footing drains, and so basically the same water that would be on that property would be dispersed on that property.
So how would the water be drained off the?
We have a footing drain outlet right there. It's basically in the middle of this space. And then gutter drains would just be dispersed at this point, we'd just be putting them on splash pads and they'd just be absorbed into the ground.
Where's the footing drain? I kind of couldn't see a point.
If you see the back corner of the garage, there's a dotted line and then it shows the footing drain toward the back. Yeah, I see the arrow, and the arrow comes down right there.
All right.
Right
Yeah,
there.
okay.
So
So the lawn fertilizer, herbicide, et cetera, would drain directly into the wetlands along the grass edge of the wetland. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I can't vouch for what they're gonna use for fertilizer and that type of thing after we're done. But I suppose that would, like any lot, that would be what would happen, yeah.
That's one of the reasons for a larger buffer.
Yep.
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 Do you plan to place this proposed house right on top of the land as it is now? Or are you going to dig out any soil?
Yes, we will dig out soil. And the way that the topography works, the back of the house works almost perfectly for a walkout basement. There will be some grading and probably some small retaining walls that will need to be built right near the house, underneath the deck, that type of thing, which will retain the soils. But the front is really just kind of tying back into the existing topography that's there. And then the driveway comes down and it wraps around through the side and goes into the garage through the side right there.
What's the elevation drop from the front to the back?
The elevation from the front to the back is approximately 8 feet.
Oh. After you've leveled it, dug out a little in the front?
Yeah, there'll be a space on if you're looking at the back of the house, on the right-hand side, that'll be the walkout area. Underneath the deck, we'll build topography into it right there, put a little retaining wall. And then on the opposite side, it kind of naturally flows to come down right there and blends back into that easement.
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful if you stake that out.
Sure, that's no problem.
Yeah, that'd be great.
When do you
It looks like a
anticipate?
pretty,
When do you folks anticipate doing a site visit? Because I can get that done prior to you getting out there.
Hopefully before our next meeting.
Hopefully not on a day like today. It was freezing.
Oh, I was outside all day. I was fine.
Gonna be covered with snow on Saturday.
It's true.
It's gonna be covered with snow on Saturday.
I think by Friday it's going to be 50 degrees. It'll be all gone. So you should be able to get something for you maybe by the end of next week. We could get it staked out for you.
Yeah, that's cool. So then we would be looking at the week before our next meeting has Monday afternoon or Tuesday before our next meeting on the 9th, maybe? I don't know. What number is that, Deb?
Our next meeting's the
Yeah.
So the end of next week would be February 4th. They would be staked out. So we'd have Monday the 7th, then Tuesday the 8th, and even Wednesday the 9th before the meeting to see it.
That'd be cool with me. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
too.
flexible Monday afternoon, Tuesday and Wednesday that week.
Yeah, we'll definitely get it done next week. I'll actually try to get the surveyor to go out and do it. But if I can't get that done, I'll go out with some long stakes and, pull a tape from the street and get some stakes with some flags on them. Maybe even get some markings on them so you can see what's there. It'd be a rough idea of where the house will be in general.
Could you also put a stake where the footing drain is
Yes.
for reference?
Yes.
And so in terms of actually modifying the vegetation that's on there now, how far from if you were to put a boundary here for grass, where would you put that?
Somewhere near the 25-foot buffer.
So it would come all the way out to the
Pretty
25
close,
foot
pretty
buffer.
close to that area. I
Yeah.
mean, realistically, from behind the deck, we're gonna need 12 feet anyway, 15 feet to run a bulldozer behind there to grade things. I
Mhm.
think it'd be a little better if we had a little more room than that to really tow it back into the existing grades. But I think that would be
Paul,
more.
it looks like the grade behind there, just beyond the silt fence, looks quite steep. Do you anticipate, how do you anticipate handling that over a permanent basis there with that, with those close, the contour lines being so close there?
Well, we're not really sure that that's actually even going to happen that way because right now we just have, again, the pool. We put it on there as a sort of a mark just to kind of claim that space, if you will. And that pool could be fairly, much lower than the houses, and that grade could all change. And, I think if they need to come back when the pool goes in, that, just to give you what the final grades would be, I think that would be okay. I mean, they need to do a permit and that type of thing for a pool and show some grading.
Paul, this is Bruce. One of my comments for the plan for my review is going to be showing a clear clearing limit line.
Okay.
And whether that be your proposed line is the 25-foot buffer or whether it's further than the 25-foot buffer. Usually when I review plans, I like it to be clean and show, exactly where you're going to be clearing and where you're not going to be clearing.
Okay.
And just one other comment I have, if you're going to be clearing in an area, you're going to need some silt fence or sediment and erosion controls.
Move the silt fence back where we're
Yeah.
right to the clearing limits. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Just wanted to add that in.
Well, I think I made my opinion clear on that
Yep.
house there. It needs to move, but we can look at it in the field. I won't be there. I'll go out before that, probably tomorrow, and
Okay.
take a peek at it. But I'll be in Florida when you have that site walk.
Okay. Will you be
Well,
back for the next meeting, Deb?
Okay.
Will you be
What's
back
that?
for the, will you be back for the next meeting?
No, I'll be back 1st of March.
Okay. All right. But you
You
could
can
attend
sign
twice.
on from Florida.
Yeah, you can sign on from Florida.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that. I probably could, yeah.
Okay. All right. So when do the rest of you guys want to meet?
I'm free on Monday, but not Tuesday. I could do Monday or Wednesday.
I can do
About-
Monday, but not Tuesday.
All right, let's do Monday afternoon and would 4 o'clock, Annie, can you come at 4 on that Monday?
Absolutely, yeah.
Be dark.
So
Sounds good.
that would be Monday, February 7th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
At
4
Would it be
p.m.
would it be helpful if I were there?
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll
Yes.
Yeah.
send you a notice for sure.
Right.
And you're
I'd be-
absolutely, it's a
I'd
public
be happy to
meeting,
be there.
so you're welcome to attend. Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right.
You want
I
to make
think
sure,
it would be interesting if somebody put 100-foot line on this map, just so we could see.
Oh.
yeah, I
The
don't think,
50-foot goes right
Yeah.
through the middle of the house.
Scale.
I don't think that's going to make any sense, Barbara. And plus the previous subdivision was approved for 50 feet. So I think we really need
Oh,
to,
okay.
yeah, I don't think that would be an exercise that would be helpful. But
The 100-foot line would take the whole site.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Pretty much.
A motion to classify this as minor, the Brown, are we calling this the Brown what are we calling it? Brown residence?
Crown residence, yep.
Residence, I'll make a motion to classify as minor.
Second,
Any discussion? All those signify by saying aye. Aye.
I,
Abstentions? All right. I'll go out tomorrow and look at it.
Awesome, Dave. Excellent.
Okay.
But I definitely think the house needs to move. I'm not a fan of the 25-foot setback with
Yeah.
all those machines and bulldozers and
Yeah.
stuff running through it. You and I both know what's going to happen there.
Yep. And
So-
again, the same thing with the pool, that the pool needs to be, depending on where that house, but I think they get the message.
All right. Then we'll see you after the site walk at our next meeting.
See you after the site walk.
All right, very good. Thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. No new applications. Deb's frozen. There she is.
Sorry. No, that's true. No new applications.
No pending, no old business. We have a report from you on Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, exactly. So the Parks and Recreation Department want to widen the path at Aquatic Plains Park. So you're probably aware there's a 5-foot wide stone dust path that goes all the way around the fields.
Mhm.
5 feet's not very comfortable to have two people walking next to each other. They want to widen it by 2 feet, and they want to widen it to the inside towards the fields, not towards the outside of the property. So
Good.
I'm just going to share my screen because you may recall there are wetlands out there.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Big time.
Yeah.
Not really big anymore.
No.
So,
Deb, you're making us look at that
Yes.
again, another time that we permitted.
yeah, so let me just zoom in here a little bit. This is on the old site plan. So here we go. So you can see this is Route 1 right here. This is the Fort Hill Citgo convenience store. The wetlands, you can see when you drive by after it rains, sometimes there's water ponding out there.
Mhm.
And then the walk is just north of that wetland.
Mhm.
So the area that I've got like with dots, that's where they're going to widen the walk. They're going to do it all the way around. This is the area that's close to the wetland. So my opinion is that this area is really, really flat, and that they'll be able to do it with no wetland impact. And I don't think it needs a wetland permit, but I need to confirm that with you guys.
Well, I tend to agree with you that it doesn't need a permit. It's area that's already in use. And as long as they stay to the field side, the stone dust path is somewhat pervious anyway. Water will go through it.
And just let me just zoom in a little bit closer here, and you can see in this area. So this is the existing path. There's also a bump out in this area with a flagpole. So that area has been disturbed. And then of course it's grass, it's field just beyond it.
Yep. Let me just ask Deb, why does that pond like that? It always ponded a little bit, but now it's pretty dramatic.
So really high groundwater here.
Yep.
And you can probably see on here where the wetlands actually were. So this whole area up in here was wet and was filled as part of the development of the fields.
Yep.
There's a discharge from the Fort Hill Citgo that outlets over here. So there's stormwater that comes to this area as well. And then the other problem with this whole field is that it's really, really flat. So this isn't the only place it ponds. It ponds over by the parking area too.
Yep.
I remember the ice rink.
Right, exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
It doesn't look like this widening would make that any worse.
No,
You know,
I totally agree.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I don't
sure-
think so.
Is there a pipe under the road there, Deb, or no?
There is, yes, there is. I can see some catch basins here and there is a pipe under
That's
Route
what
1.
I'm wondering.
Yep.
And so is it just not,
It's
it's not-
flat. It doesn't
just
have
not-
enough, right,
Okay.
doesn't have enough head, doesn't have enough pressure, so everything is really, really flat, including the pipes.
okay. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not happy with the way that is like that now, because I think it's worse than it was when we permitted this, but I certainly don't think adding stone dust path is going to exacerbate that situation, in my feeble opinion.
I don't
What
believe it will either.
What's the widening going to accomplish in that one little area? They're
No,
only
no,
going to
they're
do.
They're widening the entire path.
Oh,
This is just the area that concerns you guys, that's all.
Oh, okay.
So people can stay away from each other, so they can have their
So
walk.
is that just a walking path or is it a bicycle path or?
No, it's just walking. It's a walking path.
walking?
It's a lot of use.
Yeah, it gets a lot.
Really
They're
does.
Yeah.
I'm wondering,
Strollers.
if, because I think that corner actually goes underwater when it's really wet.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering if they would want to cheat and take a little bit more toward the field, just to get it out of that wet spot.
I mean, I'll suggest it to them, but I suspect it's because, you know, the area of play is shown here dashed, and, you know, they probably don't want to put walkers in conflict with, you know, maybe someone who's throwing in a soccer ball or doing a free kick from the corner.
So
Maybe-
what would you like a motion about, Deb?
No, I just need concurrence that you're good with me telling them that you don't need a permit for this. There's, you know, just as long as you're staying on that side of the walk.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
Yep.
me too.
Yeah, me too.
Great. All right, thank
You have
you.
a motion?
Nope, not at all. It's okay.
Just
I
a-
just
You don't
want to
need
let
that?
you know what I think and get your concurrence, that's all.
Perfect.
All righty. It is a wet area down there at the bottom of the hill, that's for sure.
It is. That's all I have.
Anybody have anything else?
I just have one quick thing. I was visiting my friend Sydney Van Zant, and Joan Smith of GOSA stopped by while I was visiting her, and she brought up on the Avery Farm, apparently there are existing bridges over wetlands. Again, I'm not familiar with what they are. And she said, just wondering, to save money, if they're existing, can we replace them and repair them? And of course I said, you need to talk to Deborah, blah, blah, blah. But again, I'm just acknowledging that I had that conversation. And I just said, obviously, you need to talk to Deborah Bruce, because, you know, whatever. She said, yeah, you guys' fees have gone up a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I know. So again, just acknowledging that I had that conversation because I don't want anyone to think I'm talking behind their backs.
Thanks.
These are on the hiking paths back there?
On the Avery Farm, and I said to her, I said, well, is it in Ledyard or Groton? And apparently, you know, that boundary along that power line is somewhat, she said, I think it's in Groton, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, like I said,
There's one at the edge of the sand plain that is in Groton.
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah. And is that's the bridge that you think they might need to repair? I guess
Yeah,
it was,
I think so.
yeah, it was there already, and you know, I said, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a skinny little thing.
Gotcha. So you got to talk to the boss.
I mean, I would say right off, it depends exactly on what they're gonna do. When you say go ahead, then they put in something that's 3 times the size, that's another story.
Yep.
This is GOSA though. Come on.
Yeah,
Anyway, I said, talk to Deb or Bruce. I didn't say anything. I just telling you about my talk.
all righty. Barbara, it must be cold in your house.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always cold.
Oh,
It's good.
It's just a vest, a furry vest.
all right.
All right, Dave, great time
Motion
to start.
to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn, and we'll see everybody on the 7th, except for you, Dave. We'll see you when we see you.
Yep. I may try and sign on from Florida.
Good.
Yeah, do
How
that.
exciting. Do it from your deck.
I'll be having shorts and a t-shirt, you know.
All right. Thanks so
No
much.
tan- No tan, though. I don't go out.
Right.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Do we have a second on that?
Second it.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Bye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions? All right, very good.
All right. All right.
Good
Good
night.
night.